Morning, everybody. This is Dr. Rao coming to you again with that series of elevator thought in the morning. I hope you all have a good day so far. And I've been up since 5 o'clock and did my yoga session with my wellness club. And now I'm ready to really reflect on this elevator thought in the morning. This is from the ancient wisdom, which said, uh, we learn to earn. We are learning to earn, but we never live. What does it mean? We learn to earn a livelihood. We entertain ourselves, and we have so many pleasures, so many things we do, but we are not living internally contented, happy in this moment. So I kind of put the short version because I didn't want to crowd the title, you know. So uh, is this orientation of external things beyond what we need, is that really wise? That's what we want to examine, you know. In America, obviously, that is really given importance no matter what anybody does, and all the self-help gurus and everybody. First they will say you'll make $1 million, you'll make this much, that much, you know, and everybody clamors to them, and then really ignores how they are internally living. Are they really satisfied with themselves, or are they happy with themselves, and are they really joyful in the moment? That's the question. You know, it's not a judgment call on anybody, but something I'm inviting everybody to look at. You know, uh, taking away all the bank balances, take away all the external things that we have, or we strive for, or we accumulate beyond certain point. Are they really worth the striving that we do? That's the one we have to look at it. So the standard is very simple. Look at your inner self. Is it calm, quiet, serene, and contented and happy? Are you satisfied with what? Are you grateful what you have? You may say that, but you know, this drive to get more things really, um, not just America, all over the world, it is taken over. But I am very happy in the morning before I encounter the regular world. I can be quiet and very serene and touch that inner peace, which is very fulfilling, and you don't need anything else after that, you know. To come to that, it took some time, because the conditioning is go get up and make more money, more money, more money, or attend for these goals of external accumulation, better car, better house, better thing. Is that wise, or is that something that is really leaving us not to touch something deeper, fulfilling self that we have within all of us? And our mind is driven by this external orientation, and that may be a sad thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and then inviting you to examine, you know, on a personal basis. Just take an honest look. There's no judgment just because you have a mindset of wanting to go and achieve a lot of money, a lot of things. But the thing is, do that external orientation keep you happy and contented? And down the line, when they are all done or achieved, people find that, oh, we are missing out something and we want to get it. So why not achieve that internal satisfaction and balance to begin with, and then do whatever your heart and mind please you to be in this society, but not of the society, to be in this glorious natural earth and then be able to enjoy that, you know, kind of keep the things very simple, ordinary, instead of trying to achieve so much more externally and losing yourself in the process. That's what I am pointing out. You know, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying anybody is inferior just because they are on the uh, lookout for the externals, striving for the externals and all that. So we are required to learn and earn for our basic needs, and that's all okay. But can we learn about the internal treasures what we have? Even at a few minutes a day, if you can touch that, so very, very fulfilling, very satisfying. You know, it could be our mindset too, but then the mindset is going out all the time. Obviously, is breeding misery. That's one thing. Other thing is it is really losing out on the internal riches that it has. Okay, so mind has to go in and understand itself, go beyond it. That is the message of this particular saying. You know, that was coming from the ancients a lot. Because if you look at it, they valued the internal orientation as the very, very important in a human being's life, just because the human being has this intelligence that he can really turn and look within with his own mind, you know. So what's happening, what are the thoughts I'm happening, what are the insecurities I'm breeding with the thoughts, what are the uh, misery I'm creating to other people by exploiting them or really putting them down, whatever it is, right? So turning inward requires that you have importance to that, give importance in your lifetime. But if you are lost in external things, some of it are, we have to really deliver our duties, that's fine. But how about starting the day with this internal orientation and being quite calm and really be in touch with the nature and really be in touch with your natural self and really be in touch with that joyful, blessed being that is within. And that is being covered by this external pursuit of the ego to achieve things and to accumulate things and all that. So that's where the time and effort is lost. And if you get up with the intention of I have to go and do that, this, and all that, you'll be lost in that all day. And then you'll be feeling the void within, and then you may want to fill that up with so many other things too. So for me, it is much simpler just to be with a joyful being and then use my body and mind to do the things that I want to do. Feeling that I'm already contented, happy, I don't need anything else to. I may have obligations, fine, I'll have to do that. But don't lose this joyful being, the touch with that, don't lose it. Actually, you are that. If you don't cover it up, you all these external pursuits, external thoughts, egoic development, the image that you develop of yourself, the things that you think, oh, I have to achieve to be happy, all those things, you know, may take a backseat, and then they're not that important. So you take the life lightly and playful, and then you will do what you need to do. But beyond that, they are not the one which define you. So we were reading something on the money by one of our friends sent us on the Instagram, and one of the sentences they say is, my contentment, happiness really do not depend on the money that I make. You know, if that's the simple thing that we can understand and we can turn inside and do it, that is much better. So, but the clarity for me is all the social media, and I'm watching it, and they kind of promote this uh, achievers achievements, you know, or this person made this person made that, this person made all of that, but they don't tell me How are those people are inside? They don't tell me how they have come to that state. They may do the external thing, but in the process, what happened to their marriages, what happened to their children, what happened to their inner peace, what happened to their addictions, or if at all they have developed any. Um, you can escape with all of the saying, oh, it's a human just to have those weaknesses. No. Do you have to have them? Why don't you examine that? Do we really have to be um, succumbing to those weaknesses? Is that human, or your human potential is there to overcome them, but you are not able to work towards it because you are too occupied by the external things? That's all I'm questioning, and that's all hidden in this. Now, what do they mean we never live? People may argue, oh, I'm living when I'm experiencing these foods or these luxuries, these pleasures. But the temporary nature of those pleasures, the addictive nature of those, and then the ephemeral nature of those, we need to confront at some point of life, now or later, right? And then somewhere it may be too late to get out of them too. So what do they mean by live is, are you with what is right now, what is presented to you in the life? Are you able to live that? Not giving some explanation, not giving some psychological explanation, none of that. Um, Not being in your mind, but in touch with the reality, in touch with what is going on here and now. Are you there? That is the thing that we're talking about. Nobody faults anybody trying to make a living. That's all okay. But is that all that is there? Then the person is striving for a job, and he is very worried about the job till he gets it. But after he gets it, and he wants something more, right? That is the natural tendency we see. Is that continuous, striving for things outward? Is that life? Or really enjoying the beauty here, enjoying the friendships that we can make, lots of joys that we have as human beings? You can just be meditative and very happy. You can be trance very happy and all those things. If that is not there, at least can you be in touch with the nature that is in front of you, the people that are in front of you, the situations that are in front of you? Instead of giving the explanations, can you be in the present here and now, living fully, that completely, that moment? That is what they're talking about. Okay. So, in the pursuit of making a living, it doesn't stop there, and then it goes on. Yeah, can you keep it simple? Yeah, I have to make the living. That's why I'm kind of working a job, and that's all fine. But beyond that, is that all that a human being is about? That's the one that we always confront, right? Eventually, then we get caught up with explanations given to us by people and all that, right? But is that all that is there? you know so can you examine on a moment to moment, daily basis, uh, where am I? If I have this clarity, inner life, external life, which is first? I am presenting to you, inner life is the one that precedes because once you are in a balance, once you are in control of your emotions and thoughts, once you are not influenced by the self-help gurus that have sprung up all over, then you will see whether you are happy, contented, or whether you are discontented, or whether you need to achieve something more to be in that state. I'm presenting to you that you can be happy within yourself and find that peaceful self, and then go and do anything in the world. This was revelatory to me when I kind of encountered the folklore of the yogis who were, they started with being happy and contented, and then marched in life and contributed significantly to life than other people who are not. That is the fact. They wrote tremendous books that helped the humanity. They wrote several musical scores that entertain people and then really make them in a peaceful mindset. And they have built beautiful sculptures, and they have done seven or so poetry. So many things they have contributed after they established themselves that inner being, and then marched on life. Okay, so that much I could really see. And then when I examined that what it was all about, it was really very simple. Just be our inner being, and don't let this mind influence us by creating an image about ourselves, that is the ego. And then the ego's hungers, the ego's appetite, the ego's earnings, those things are okay. So all those things happen because people do not pay attention uh, to the internal strivings, internal things that they really go on, right? So it's all a question of, I think they're asking me something about this confirm. Okay, okay. I don't know what this confirmation for the Instagram. Let me finish that. Anyway, I lost that Instagram thing. We will worry about it later. So this is all a question of really understanding what is going on within each one of us, and then paying attention to it. And if you pay attention to it, you will definitely try to change it too. So those kind of things are very very important for people to um, give importance. That's it, you know. So are you giving importance to your inner being, or are you being sucked by all the external activity, especially influenced by other people's image? I think one of the things somebody was saying, general pattern in that movie says America loves winners, you know, and then they hate losers. I think this has caused a lot of misery. You know, people are striving to be what they are not, and then they're trying to be the winners in the image of somebody else, and always striving to be that, and do not accept themselves being you know, simple and ordinary, and try to be content within themselves, but they have to go on making more and more and more. That's the problem. If you can do what is necessary, if you stay with what is necessary for you, you are okay. But if you are kind of you know, going more for it, that's when the misery happens. Having a decent living, having simple things to address a simple life, simple house and simple vehicles and all that, that's good enough to give you the basis of trying to turn inside and find out yourself and all that. Okay, so equating wisdom to achieving a lot outward, um, and forgetting the wisdom actually makes you turn inward and realize that you know, serene self is the problem. Okay, so when you are living in the moment, when you are in touch with what's going on, that is life, not the your memory of yesterday, and not the future of the future tomorrow. They are not yet here, they are not real. What is real is here and now. But are you living in touch with the present moment? That's the question. Okay, and that you don't have to cover it up with all your egoic images, egoic pursuits, egoic achievements, and all that. Then you will be more towards outward rather than inward. If you are inward, then you see the ego and you transcend that, and then you really live with your own inner being, which is loving and happy and peaceful. Peace itself, happiness itself, love itself. And then your relationship with the world and with everybody else will be much more simple, much more easy, and much more fulfilling to you because you are living it. You are not imagining it or you are not remembering it. You are actually living it. That's the question. Are you living every day as it is present to you, or you are driving to make it something else, but that is not, and eventually that results in conflict of who you are and what you are not. If you are trying to be what you are not, you always want to come back to who you are. Okay, that conflict is there all the time. So Eastern cultures, way back, they looked at this and they settled down for the inner peace. Whereas development of all this orientation of the externals is spreading all over the world. Where it started, we don't have to debate, but everybody wants to emulate America's accumulation of things and achieving outward and all that. And that has bred a lot of suffering, a lot of unnecessary anguish to many people. Even in America's house, if you take them, they're striving 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Why 90% are struggling like that when others small percentage are accumulating all this and not being available to everybody. So if you have that equanimous feeling within those rich people, like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and what they are trying to do is they are trying to give all that money away so that the society will have access to some of that money, right? If all those people really do that, a bit of it at least, I think a lot of it will be served. You don't get much funding for the education, much funding for the research, much funding for the humanities, much funding for the healthcare. But then you make everything private and everything money making in healthcare, and then you complain that we don't have good healthcare, good not having access, all these insurance companies are restricting and all that, right? So this accumulative outward movement has a lot of problems and it produced a lot of suffering. That's my take. So I'm appealing to each person to say, am I living in the present? Am I living here? That is what I wanted to say for today. And hopefully, people appreciate what I'm talking about and they can have their own intake. It's not one day affair. This has to be examined closely, where you observe your life and then see what is happening, and are you really pursuing some things that are not really real in the long run. You may be happy while you are pursuing them, but once you get suppose a vehicle, a good vehicle I want, and then you go there and you get that vehicle, and sooner or later, after a while, the vehicle doesn't appeal to you anymore, doesn't have the same criteria, and then you go to something else. That is like chasing the oasis. You see the water out there, and then you think there's water and you walk towards it, then you find there's nothing there, like that, right? But on the other hand, if you can make the external life simple and turn yourself inward and discover that peace and happiness that's always there, I think you'll be very happy. So in the morning, like I was always saying, get up and be in awareness. If not, make sure these external thoughts are coming to you and dominating you. Rather, if at all you have to think and think of something elevated, something that relates to everybody else lives, and the life in general. This statement is life in general, not intended to any particular individual, but general state of affairs in the society, where we are making the external things more important than our inner sense of well-being, inner sense of peace and happiness, harmony, and all those. Okay, it's not preaching anything. It's like stating a fact that is there. Okay, inviting people to examine it, inviting people to understand it, and inviting people to look at it really what it is for. Once you do that, all you have to do is, am I living here now? Am I living in the present? Am I completely focused on what I'm doing? Am I really just looking at the people for what they are here and now, rather than bringing images about themselves, or want to use them for something that satisfy my external needs and all that. So if you can examine that simply sitting down honestly, then you will know for yourself what is the truth about you, inward and outward, and then you can go about the life changing them. Okay, so I was telling my your wellness club, you say, the clarity you have to have is, if you are going to come to Dr. Rao, it is about inner life. It's not about external life. You're not going to make a lot of money associated with me. You are not going to make a lot of external achievements. But what you can learn is to turn inward and look at yourself and where it is going, and understand those dynamics, understand how the civilizations evolved into this state where so many wars going on all the time, where so many people are really dissatisfied with their life, and so much suffering going on, right? That is in front of us. You want to ignore that, you want to entertain yourself, you want to involve in pleasure. That's something you want to look at for yourself. Is that really needed, or is that really going to take me to where I will understand the life, and then I will be peaceful and quiet within, you know? And that is a very, very, very fulfilling state, I'm telling you. You will be calm, but at the same time, you will strive for the benefit of other people. Like I'm saying, I'm very happy before dawn, before everybody comes up. I'm kind of deep within myself, and I'm very happy. I don't have to come out and talk to anybody to get happiness and satisfaction for myself, because I'm already that. But why do I do it? Because when we are living in a society, you want to point out the things, and you want to point out the inner bliss that is available to us, all of us. Strive for it. The obstacle for it is this ego that we have developed unconsciously, or given by the society, given by the understandings and all that. So there are people who are very simple outwardly, and inwardly they are very, very contented and happy, and they also contribute to the life, but they don't do it because they have to have this all these achievements for them to be happy. They do it because they're already happy and contented and balanced, and they may be obligated, like I'm obligated to my family, to my people who have loaned me money or anything like that, right? I'm obligated to do that. But beyond that, making that money would be the reason for me to be content and happy. That's all I'm saying. And once you are like that, you can work for the welfare of the society, you can work for the welfare of everybody else without really being at preaching or anything. Just live that life and relate like that. So somebody comes to me, all the memories about them, I kind of don't want them to come in front of me. Like he did something negative to me, I don't want to bring it out. I want to face him like he is now. And what I did was change my inner projection of him, but I'm not asking him to change anything. I'm just giving the benefit of doubt for him, so that I can relate to him normally without keeping any, resentment, regret, or animosity, or hatred, or anything like that. That is good for me because I'm not like that, right? And then at the same time, I'm relating to him for what is in a humane way, in a humanistic way, and not being a big extraordinary human being, nothing like that. Just relate to them as an ordinary human being, and not having any preconceived notions about him, either real or imagined. I mean, he might have really hurt me, he might have really did something, but why do you have to hang on to that? You see, one thing about this egoic structure is it kind of bends, and also it kind of holds on to things that it perceives or it imagines. Like say, that's why if you are an egoic person, you are not forgiving that easily. If you are not, it's not even a question of forgiving. It's a question of not retaining. You don't retain those events that happened with that other person. but you want to relate to the person as he is now. And then that person relates to you in a nice way too, because you are coming from the angle of love, where you don't want to keep any of those images, any of these misconceptions about the other person. And then when you are in that energy, the other person also feels that, and then good things only come up if they perceive it. If they don't perceive it, obviously you are not affected, but he is not able to receive that kind of love and affection and equanimity and all that, right? So it's not like a talking tall, just keeping ourselves simple, just not yielding to that egoic structure. That's all I'm talking about. Actually, many of the religions strive for this. Their goal is to see how people are going to transcend the ego, not remove the ego completely, but understand what is ego, how does it build, how does it come about, how does it interfere with our daily present moment life, and once they understand, then that understanding transcends the ego, and then the ego would be the dominant force. It could be a slave, it could do the things that you need to do on the other, but it won't give you that image that I'm superior or inferior, any of those complexes, And that's why the religions always said there is something like a bigger force than you, which I think there is, and then that is kind of direct your life, and then you kind of surrender to it, and this is a very revelatory to me when Ramana Maharshi said, uh, whatever you want to do, if it is not really uh, to be done, it won't be done. That means it is already determined to be done, it will be done. Whatever you do, to prevent it, it will not stop it. Okay? Whatever you want to do, if it is not to be done, it is not to be disdained, it is not disdained, it will not happen. Because however much we do, so that was very revelatory to me. He says this to his mother, who comes up. You see, he runs away from his home around 60 years or so. And then he settles out in this Arunachala, which is a sacred hill in southern part of India. And he doesn't even inform his family that he is there. Okay? His intention is to really spread what he found is inner bliss to the world, which he did, and then his intention was not to lead a family life, not to a bonded family life, and he was liberated from all of that. He is for everybody, for the entire world, not just to his family, his mother, and all that. And her mother recognized that later, and then she was contented, happy that he is doing something very noble, right? But before she realized, as a mother, she felt that he should come back home and live with them because he was only in his teens, right? I think he went away around 16, 17 years, and then they found him at 19 years or so that he was living in this hill as a ascetic, so they went and asked him to come back. And his mother comes and pleads him, and she cries, she rolls on the floor, she's really anguished, right? But then other people ask him, why are you making your mother cry like that? Why didn't you go home with her and then you do your practice there? Then he says, whatever is destined, no matter how much you want to change it, you cannot change it. Whatever is not to happen, how much you try, it will not happen. Okay, that was very revelatory, because I consider that kind of aesthetics are at a higher frequency and they're speaking the truth. It was much easier for him to go and stay with his mother and all that, but he didn't. He stayed there and he reached out to the entire world. Now, six continents to try to understand him and say to see. This is what he's saying. Just be, just be, not your thought driven self or egoic self, none of that. Just be what you are, that is the inner energy, and then work for the world. That's what he did. He was a very simple man. He didn't want to have any money, but then he has this richness inside that he spread. I'm not saying everybody has to be like that. No, not at all. But it's a flavor of it. That's what I think. I have the flavor of it. I have nothing like that. The highly evolved people. What I'm saying is, can you be in the present and be yourself as a simple being, as a peaceful, happy, contented being, and then deal with the extreme difficulties and everything? That's what I understood from the Eastern wisdom, ancient wisdom, actually. What I understood is our happiness, our contentment, our peace is within. And once you are established in that, then you can deal with whatever comes to your way. So, like yesterday, I was invited by three different companies to be the member of that board, so that I can suggest as an advisor. And I said, more than happy. No compensation, nothing, just whatever suggestions I can do from my long experience as a physician or as an informatician as yoga. I have 40 years experience as a physician, 40 some. I have my highs and lows and all that. But I have experience, right, on that. And informatics, I have been in that since 2008. I have the knowledge about where the field is going, what is going on. I still have to learn a lot in that field, but still, whatever I know, I can help. I can help train somebody effectively the EMR. So that's a good thing for that. And then to deliver the patient care, make it much more useful, these EMRs, right? And then yoga and other practice like almost 35 years now. But it's not just a physical practice, it's an experiential knowledge that is there, and that can be related to people to ease their pain and suffering inside. That's what I use it for, basically. So all these things can be done, but first establish yourself to be that simple, happy, contented, peaceful self. That is the living they're talking about. Okay, and this is could be my personal view, and that's fine. But just inviting my friends to look at, is life is only about going and getting things outside, or is the life about experiencing life as it is and not having this ego come in the way? So we learn, we kind of go and earn a living, but we don't really live in the moment. Suppose you don't have any entertainment. Suppose you don't have anything external thing to do, and you're sitting with yourself. How do you feel as a human being? That's the test. Everybody can test for themselves. Don't have to say it out. Don't have to advertise. None of it. Don't have to feel bad about it. Just face how you are, and no, you don't have to be that. No, you can be more a peaceful and blissful conscious being. Okay, so this is the essence of ancient wisdom, is first of all transgressing the extreme suffering also. Okay, and also resulting in extreme blissful presence. These two are possible. Okay, and then you are really living. If you are not swayed by extreme, but you can be playful and peaceful and enjoy the moment that they showed. Okay, right, in the term in the field of no technology, and they were very simple. They lived with no entertainment because they're always bliss. However entertainment you have, you won't have that bliss. But if you enjoy the bliss within, that is tenfold and entertainment happiness that you get. So they always knew this. Human being has the potential just to be satisfied and get caught in the temporary uh, pleasure. That is prayers, they call it. Also, human being has the capacity to go beyond these external temporary pleasures towards something internal and permanent and blissful being, and that's also there. It's our choice what you want to go. And then is the propaganda is more towards making more money, making more things available, and then taking away from the inner self and filling the void. and then going through so many suicides and depressions, anxieties, and all that, or you can stay within yourself, balance, in control, and facing the life as it is. Even the extreme difficulties come, you can transgress because you are establishing that self, which is not your body and mind. Body and mind truths of that presence. So I'm inviting you to inquire into that, and I'm inviting you to focus on that. That kind of lots of people don't take time, don't have time because they are so caught up in the things that society dictates. So at least the people who have the time, like me, can present their viewpoint, and invite people to go into that and then really establish themselves here. There is something called Yogastha Kuru Karmani. That means you first establish yourself in yoga. Yoga means here where your conscious, individual consciousness has really realized I am that ultimate consciousness. It's not like a union or none of that. It's just realizing I'm already that. Once you realize that, establish yourself in that realization and then go about the life. So, towards that, they have described so many ways and all that. They said, your mind is going all over, is external, doing all of that. Try to see that movement can be minimized or stopped. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Yoga means, chitta means internal, right? Vrittis means this whirlpools of thought, and that is nirodha, that is stopped. And then tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. And then you will really see your real nature. If we don't do that, what happens is the mind goes out and that causes the vrittis again, and results in all of that. If we don't do that, that's the second thing he tells you, right? So what's possible, they go 8-step way. First, they say you've got to be moral and you got to be ethical. Okay, you have to be uh, doing in a correct way with the society, and you have to be within yourself, establish those ethical values too. And then once you are that, that's the fundamental. And then you attend your physical body by asana, they said. And once you make your physical body healthy, and then you kind of practice breathing also, which also contributes to health, but at the same time, it kind of slows down the thought. And then bring your senses back. Don't let them go all the way. If you want to establish this inner peace, you want to establish this inner yoga we're talking about, bring those senses from outward to inward. Okay, that is pratyahara. That is the fifth one. Okay, first one is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. Yama, niyama are moral ethical values. Asana is the physical yoga, and pranayama is the breathing, and fifth one is the senses. At that point, you are telling the mind, I'm going to do something to you, that's why I'm withdrawing the senses. And then you say dharana, that is concentrating that thought. And then once you concentrate the thought and you want to contemplate on that slow down, eventually one thought, you are going to contemplate. That's called dhyana. So you stay with one thought and go beyond it, that is dhyana. And then the final one is when you are completely transcend the movement of thought, you establish yourself in that peace and silent self. And that is the prolonged, that's called samadhi. So the aim is to make our mind calm and quiet and calm down so that we can see our real self, and then the real self uses the mind and body to do the services of the world. Okay, that is the yoga practice that they established. This has not happened just from a pen of somebody or somebody writing they compile this. Even Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is taken as a standard thing now, That was written after thousands of years of yoga practice in the corners. The whole striving was, what is a human being? What is his real purpose? Is that all just to stay, eat, and sleep and go, or is that all just to go out and do some hunting, get the animals and eat and go, or is it like a, have this intelligence that you can use to see the potential happiness that we can have by turning inward? So that's why they lived very simply outward, but very rich inside in that sense. That means they don't have anxieties, they don't have depression, they don't have worries, they don't have this conflicts with people or with animals. They're so peaceful. Even the wild animals lost their wildness inside them. So I am saying, as modern people, we should question this, constant strive for something outward, some pleasure that they promise, or some kind of satisfaction when you accumulate things. I'm questioning that. Why can't we be simple? Why can't we realize this inner joy that we all can experience? So in this thought, there is so much of that. Okay, people can be simple outward, make ordinary living, and just enough that is, and then don't be driven by these, you know, motivators or um, facilitators or whatever they call them, the self-help gurus. They always want you to make so much money to be happy. I question that. What I'm saying is, you can be excellent in whatever you do, but that may not be the basis by how you are already content and happy. It is already there. So just be, and then go and work for the welfare of others. That's why they said Atma Moksharda. First realize there is a liberation from your mind, and you establish yourself in that being, which is to be means. And then into the process, you have to destroy this egoic structure, and then realize that I'm not that came up, and I can transcend that. Then you be yourself, and then establish yourself Jagat Hitacha. That is, go and help the world and work in the world. So that is this is all against personal ambitiousness. This is all against expansion of all these goods by the materialistic world and all of that. This is for the people who want to live in the present, who want to live contentedly, happily in the present, and who want to really enjoy that blissful nature that is possible with each body. So I think I have spoken almost an hour now. If anybody wants to come up, they are welcome to come up and tell me, what do you think about this. Otherwise, I'll be closing down in a few minutes. So if people are interested to come up, I'm open to discussion now. Okay. Okay. So many people are there. Sanya, Graciela. So you can come up and then talk to me. What do you think about this? Unfortunately, I lost that Instagram, which I was trying to, something came up and they wanted me to change the password at the time. So I thought I will do that later. I'll let it go. Other channels I'm open, but I don't think they can come up. Only people can come up on the Wisdom app. So it's a very simple. It's not accusation or anything. It's a state of affairs that are there in the current world, where there's so much of strife and misery is there when you are really propelled or influenced to pursue only the external things at the cost of the inner wellness, inner happiness and peace. To come back to that, it's very simple. Just be yourself, and then um, pursue outward things after that balance is there, and then you'll be happy both ways. You will be making what you need, but then you are preserving your inner self. That is a balance. Yogastaha kuru karmani. First achieve the balance within, and then go about the life. I mean, people have different opinions because they operate through the mind. But if you put the mind aside and look at the life as it is, that is a general state of affairs. You can say so much gross, all those things, but then look at Ukraine and Russia, the egoic domination, wanting to really cause suffering to so many people there, and that is spreading all over the world in the sense all the food prices have gone up in so many countries. All the oil prices have gone up. It's affecting everybody too. So that is there in front of us to face and understand it. But we think that's far away. It's happening somewhere else, and then we are not really. We are involved in the entire global structure, whether we know it or not. Our interior makes the exterior possible, and the exterior we are creating because we are always going on. We are not attempting to change our interior. That's all I'm inviting to. Okay? So obviously, anybody wants to come or not, maybe people are threatened with their pursuits that they are doing and really unhappy that I say something like this. But then I'm just saying the truth. Everybody knows, and I'm as ordinary as anybody else. But then I want to be that. I want to be ordinary. I want to be simple. I want to be in my own inner being, which is very, very peaceful. It's not that I don't have money problems. I don't have struggles outside, but they are not that important for me compared to the inner. So I will do that. I will deliberately come down on the external activities as much as possible, unless they are related to something like a thing that will improve externally. I don't want to be, going for my personal grandiose or personal egoic needs or anything like that. I don't want that because I saw the policy of it and I got rid of it. Whoever wants to do the external pursuits at the cost of the inner, that's their business. I'm not here to judge them, but I'm finding out, are we in the rules of earning living going beyond what that is really? If you are doing a simple job, that's not really respected in America. And it's like a winner is respected, loser is not. That kind of attitude is contributing to a lot of misery. Why can't you accept everybody as people? Why can't you expect people just to be ordinary and then be happy? Uh, this dream building, this uh, diversion towards the external achievement and accumulation, I think is causing a lot of misery and missing out on the real joy of your inner being. That's my point. I am happy with it. I'm going to continue that, and whoever wants to really find that out, want to engage me, I'm more than happy to help them. Beyond that, I think I will close the room now because nobody's willing to come and participate in this discussion, which is fine because they have to be comfortable. I just stated a fact, then look at it as a fact. I'm not being unkind to anybody who is only in external person. I'm talking about a general affair as it is in the world. Okay, and people will pursue them. People have to meet their deadlines. People have to meet their the goals or targets or whatever. That's up to them. All I'm saying is, don't pursue the goals like that. The process is important. In the process, how you are, what you are bringing in as you are, that's important. And after that, do those external things need for your contentment, happiness, then you're missing the boat. That's all I'm saying. If you are contented, happy, or doing things, that's fine. That's what my understanding now is, and that's what I'm presenting. Thank you, and I think I will close the room.